Welcome to the podcast. We Do Recover with Jared Miller, your host.
And I'm Dr. Terry Sellers, your co-host.
This is a podcast about recovery from addiction.
We want to talk about what successful recovery can look like.
Brought to you by Steps Recovery Center and the St. George Hilton Garden Inn.
Oh, buddy, do I have a treat for our listeners today. Listen, sometimes when you go out and fish, you catch a minnow. Hey, man, it's better than a work day. You caught a minnow, you caught a fish. Sometimes you go out and fish and you catch a freaking whale. For today's episode, I've caught a freaking whale. We have, for episode 78, Joe Nestor, who is joining us via Skype to talk to us about his life, some of his music, things he's passionate about, how he got to be an international singer and songwriter. Before that, though, episode 78 is brought to us by Steps Recovery Centers, where they are ready to help you or a loved one get help as soon as you're ready to reach out. And listen, when I say they're ready to help you or a loved one get help, what I really mean is like, even if it's not the right insurance, even if you have no insurance, call the number 801-800-8142. That's what I love about our people, right? Our intake people know everybody. They network. So they're going to get you set up with the best place, the best care for you, whether that's us or somebody else. You can also go to their website, stepsrc.com, and live chat with one of our intake coordinators. Thank you, Steps Recovery Center, for sponsoring this podcast. Joe, I'm nervous.
Why,
Can you hear it in my voice? Relieve me. I need a pitch reliever here. Joe Nestor, we always start off with what is new and good. What is currently new and good in your world today, man?
Oh, man, I'm just, I am completely blessed. This week has been super eventful, super exciting. Not only did, me and you, we were in Indiana this past weekend and sharing our message of hope and inspiration. Came back home and I was actually featured in my local newspaper. My whole family and we made the front page, like this huge article.
Dang,
so
dude.
It's pretty cool, man.
That is new and good. That is fantastic. Yes, Warsaw, Indiana, Bridge the Gap. Listen, this is the second time I have had the honor to speak at the same event as Joe Nestor, and it was amazing. The only problem is when you go up and you try to talk to Joe Nestor at one of these events, he's swarmed. It's like a beehive. So I was like super stoked. So here's my new and good, right? So my new and good is the Bridge the Gap event was amazing. I go to like try to introduce my wife to Joe Nestor in the flock of people that surrounded him. He's like, all right, I'll get back to you later. He definitely draws a crowd. So, however, I'm still recovering from my vulnerability hangover from that, man. Like I shared some stuff that I've never shared before.
It was powerful, man. I mean, I appreciate the brutal honesty and, the vulnerability that you showed personally. I just think it's more authentic that way,
For sure. But, I like to cast myself as this big tough guy. And so when you're up there choking back tears, right, it's difficult. So anyways, yeah, that's my new and good. It was an awesome event. I loved it.
New and good.
Yeah, buddy. All right, Sean Denneman, what's your new and good?
The semester's almost over.
Hey,
no more teaching. I'm good for the summer.
That's great.
That's my new and good. Don't really have much.
Hey, listen, you got a lot of new and goods. We just went over the schedule, and you have like 1,000 trips planned.
Oh, that's right. I'm traveling all around the country this summer.
He means that. Like we were Googling a bunch of different places he's going to. What are some of the places?
Let's see: Glacier, Teton, Rainier, Smoky Mountains, Rocky Mountains, Everglades, Lake Powell, where else? Joshua Tree, Arkansas. I don't know what that's different. In San Jose.
Now, are you getting paid for all of those trips?
Most of them, yes.
So not only do you get to go across the country, you're getting paid to go help people with technology stuff?
No, I'm DJing half marathons at the national park. So everyone's running, but I set up all the sound, do the announcing, and announce names as they come across the finish line. And, of course, play just a whole bunch of good music while I'm there.
Dude, you're a rock star.
Done by noon.
I'm a little jealous.
And then go hang out at Rainier. Go hang out at Yellowstone for a day. Go see some buffalo and some, what are those things, the water spouts. What are the things in Yellowstone? What are they called?
Geysers?
Yeah, the geysers.
Water spouts.
The water spout.
Yes.
I'm going to go to Raging Waters, too. So anyway,
That's awesome.
That's
man.
my new and good. So we were planning that before the show.
Yep. I'm jealous. I heard Joe say he was jealous too. So
Yeah, super jealous.
listen, Joe, we have a lot of things in common. Okay, like, you know, you're a married dude to an amazing wife, Faith. I'm a married guy to an amazing wife, Mandy. You know, you've been homeless. I've been homeless. We're both two dudes in long-term recovery. We both speak at events. You have an amazing voice. I have an amazing voice.
What?
Yeah, bro. You didn't hear me sing to Dr. Sellers?
Oh, I heard that.
Happy birthday.
That's why I challenge you on that last. Everything else is your thing, but that last one I challenge you on.
Okay. So maybe I don't have an amazing voice, but you have an amazing voice. And I understand you're a singer and a songwriter. Now, do you write all your songs?
Yeah. I've had a lot of people ask me to write them songs, but I just can't do it, man. Music for me is something very personal. Like it's my therapeutic outlet. So I write all my songs. I write all the lyrics. I write all the music. And most of the time when I'm in the studio recording it, I actually record all the instruments myself as well.
Dang, dude, that is impressive. That is quite impressive, sir. So listen, let's talk about your music. In 2016, you released the album To Hell and Back.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool album. One of my favorite songs on there is Never Going to Take My Soul. And then I understand you've actually done a part 2. It's just a solo of that song.
Yeah.
That's freaking sweet. Hold on though. I got a laundry list here. In 2017, 1 year later, you released the album Rise from the Ashes. My favorite song on that, dude, is Barely Breathing. Right? Love that song. Yeah. It's an amazing song. 1 year later, in 2018, you released the album Raw and Unplugged. My favorite one off of that is You're All I Need. So kind of a worship song, right? I dig it. Yep. We're still not even done yet. So, and then again in 2018, you released the album The Awakening. Yeah. Listen, the song Homeless Hero, I'm not kidding you, had me like choking back tears. Dude, you got some. Go ahead.
That's like a personal song, man. And if you remind me later on, you know, in the show, I'll tell you a personal story about that song.
I look forward to it. I'm hoping you can kind of speak on some of these. You know, okay, we're not done though. We're not done. I noticed in 2019 there was no release of an album, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with your amazing wife, Hope. But before you answer that question, in 2020, you released the album This Is Me. Dude, the song Destiny, I feel like you're telling my story and a lot of other people in recovery stories.
Dude, man, I had so much fun recording that song and just recording the whole This Is Me album, man. Seriously, like I wish I could explain better, like how that whole thing came to fruition. I mean, honestly, like I recorded a bunch of albums. I was signed to a record label. You know, I was signed to Recovering Artists Worldwide, and
what year was that? What year was that?
2016. I signed to Recovering Artists Worldwide, and started touring and just recording a bunch of music. And things were going good. You know, it was a recovery-based record label. I started gaining some recognition touring the country. Dude, my first tour was with Bubba Sparks.
Get out of here. Really?
I swear to God, man.
That's crazy.
It was the most mind-blowing experience. Like it was cool, man.
What's that dude like?
Very reserved. Very reserved, very quiet, you know, but when he steps on stage, he's just like a whole different animal.
I was going to say, when I think of him, I don't think of reserved and quiet. Like he's got some powerful music. You guys did a little duo together, right? You guys collaborated on a song?
We never released anything together, but we've performed together and everything. No, we haven't released anything together.
It was Kalichi that I'm thinking of that you collaborated with.
Yeah.
For your song Worthy of Love.
Yeah, Kalichi. Yep. That's another good friend of mine, Chad Smith.
Well, listen, tell that dude, I reached out to that dude to have him come on my podcast. And I'm not sure if he was one of the guys that asked for money or if he just ghosted me, but you're
Oh,
way
man,
cooler in
he's
my
a good-
mind than Kalichi because you're on here, bro. I appreciate it.
I'll make sure I tell him to hit you up.
Well, listen, let's talk about those albums. What was going on so we're talking about now about your life in recovery today. Well, for the last few years anyways. Anything that jumps out at you from 2016 to today that, as I go through those different albums that have been released over the years?
Well, so my very first album, To Hell and Back, was probably one of the rawest and most emotional albums I've ever written. And I say that because almost every song off of that album was written while I was still in a halfway house.
Dang.
I'm talking about first 6 months, first year of recovery. And the emotions, like I said, music is a therapeutic outlet for me. And there were times in that first year of recovery, where it got a little shaky, and I was fighting back every ounce of my flesh, not to run back out to those streets, not to run back out and get high, which is what I was used to doing. That's what I had been doing for the past 10 years. So, those songs that I was writing came from like a very raw place of just deep emotion. And it's funny you said one of your favorite songs off that album was Never Gonna Take My Soul.
Love it.
And a little insight on that song. I wrote that song in a prison cell in 2009 before I ever got clean, before I even thought about getting sober.
I found that out because I geeked out and Googled you and researched you and just went on a Joe Nestor deep dive. And when I heard your Never Gonna Take My Soul Part 2, you explained that in the intro.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So you literally wrote that in a jail cell.
Yeah, man. Here I am sitting in this prison cell, and I'm facing a significant amount of time. I didn't even actually know if I was going to see the light of day again. Very dark place.
So you were facing a life sentence, or close to.
Not life, so to speak, but to me, like, it was life. Double digits,
right,
for sure. And man, I was just like, dude, this sucks. And but the more I just thought about it, like, I was just like, man, like, I don't want to, if I got to spend the rest of my life here, or I got to spend the next X amount of years here, I don't want to spend it miserable. And I just had this thought, like, man, you know what? Like, you can take the cars, you can take the house, you could take the family, you can even take my freedom, man. But one thing you can't take is you can't take my happiness, and you can't take my soul, no matter what. And I just remember sitting on that hard, steel stool in the back of the cell. And I just started like beating on the desk. I'm like beating on the desk. And then I come up with this melody, and then the words just started pouring out. Like, I don't even know where it came from. It just came from that raw spot, and
I know exactly where it came from. It's your higher power reaching down and touching you, brother.
Amen, dude. Amen. Seriously, man. And I wish that, obviously I'm not in prison, so I did get out. And I wish that I could say that when I got out, that's when my recovery journey started. But unfortunately, I ran right back to the streets, right back to the same old things, getting high every day. And it's so funny. I would be like with my friends in the car, singing this song, Never Gonna Take My Soul, beating it on the window, high as heck,
You know
Or
what,
I'd
though?
be
That's
like-
actually a pretty common theme. Most of the time when we get incarcerated and we don't quit on our own volition, right? There's something about we want to choose our last time, which is weird as heck to me, but I get it.
Yeah, man. Like I'm singing this song, in the car. We're all high. And my boys are like, man, that song is so good, man. That could be like on the radio. And then, my one friend, he's like, dude, like you really need to get your life together. You're so talented, man. And the songs that you write, like you could literally like help so many people. But
So that's
it's crazy.
Is that kind of where the idea was born? Or is that just a seed that was planted?
That's just a seed that was planted. I apologize. If you give me can you give me 1 second, please?
Yeah.
I apologize. Give
Yeah,
me
no
1 second.
problem. So for those of you that are just kind of joining us to catch up, definitely go check out Joe Nestor. You can find him on YouTube. And what the album he's talking about right now is his album that he released in 2016, To Hell and Back. On that album, one of the songs is Never Gonna Take My Soul. And just the fact that he actually wrote that in a jail cell. Now that he's kind of told me that, it makes sense. Like when you listen to the lyrics of the song, I can see it, man.
Yeah, man.
Back.
Like I was just like one day, I'm going to make it out of this town, man. I'm going to make it out and I'm never going to look back, And in 2012, that's what happened, man. That's exactly what happened.
So, and we're going to get to that in the second part.
Yeah, we're going to get to that, but
I want to keep our listeners engaged. So you know what I mean? We're saving that golden nugget for the end, Joe, because you do have an amazing story.
Yeah, man. Like I said, fast forward, back to 2016, that is the first song I recorded. When I went in to record the This Is Me album, I was like, you know what? I have to put it on there. No matter what, like I have to put it on there. And sure enough, it blew up. And next thing you know, like I'm on tour and I got people coming out to my concerts and they're like in tears with the lyrics tattooed on them. Like
wow.
I had so many people. I had people flying in from the UK, people like from all over the world with Never Gonna Take My Soul tattooed on them. Like it was the most humbling thing ever,
Dude, I love that. I love that. I got like 12,000 other songs that I'm wanting to talk about. Are you cool if we so then you did another one that I absolutely love is Worthy of Love. And that's the one that you did featuring Kalichi.
Yeah.
Talk to me about give me the backstory on that. When did you guys plan that? I mean, it's an amazing song. Again, for those of you that are listening, go to YouTube and listen to the song. It will give you chills. It's crazy.
I mean, we had talked about doing a song together for years, and we never really had the time to really sit down and do it until COVID hit. And that's when we decided that, you know what, we're going to do a song, but if we do a song, it has to be powerful. It has to be something that's relatable to our audience and to our fans. And one thing that really stuck out to us is like, early in recovery, I just remember that feeling of this hopelessness and that I was too far gone. How could anybody ever love me?
Mm-hmm.
Not worthy of love. Like, even though people were showing it to me, our support group, the guys at the halfway house, they're showing the love, but I can't accept it because I don't feel worthy. I don't feel I'm deserving. But we wanted to let everybody know that no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done, no matter where you're at in life, you are still a child of God.
And you are worthy of love. Yeah.
Amen.
It took me years to get that, Joe. The guy that I talked to when I spoke, one of the mentors, Todd Sylvester, that's actually one of the questions. He pointed out to me that I had some really flawed belief systems. And in my flawed belief systems was I didn't feel like I was worthy of happiness. And so I think maybe that's why that song Worthy of Love is one of my favorites, is because I could relate, like you do need to be reminded that no matter what you're going through, you're worthy of love.
Mm-hmm.
Fire,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
Fire. All right, so let's talk about another one that's probably near and dear to your heart. Now, I'm making some assumptions here based on the lyrics. Before you go and spread your wings, thank you, Mom, for everything. We're talking now about, and these are singles, right? The last two songs we just talked about are singles. I Still Need You Here. Talk to me about that song, Joe.
You would have to pick that one, man.
Mm.
So now I'm the one fighting back tears, dude. Got a lump in my throat right now.
I know the feeling.
So this is a little bit longer of an explanation because I want to tie it all in together. So my parents divorced when I was 6 years old. And my mom, she didn't want to really stop hanging out with the rough crowd. She didn't want to stop, living that lifestyle. And when I was born, my dad, he stopped everything. He stopped partying. He stopped literally everything and wanted to raise me right. And when my mom didn't want to do that, they divorced at 6 years old, and my dad took me to live with my grandparents. And I still visited my mom on the weekends, and I visited her every weekend growing up. And then when I got older, and then as I became a teenager, it started to be like every other weekend or once a month. But, regardless, my mom loved me,
Absolutely.
she loved me so much, but she suffered from certain illnesses that prevented her from fully taking care of me the way that, I needed to be taken care of. She was paranoid schizophrenic. And she just had other illnesses. She was in a car accident and had major brain trauma and things like that. And when I became addicted to heroin and I was homeless and running the streets, my mom still never lost hope in me. She still loved me, loved me to the fullest. And I remember one night, it was freezing cold out, and there's snow. I think it snowed like 10 inches or 12 inches that night. And I was like, dude, there's no way that I can survive the night out here sleeping under a bridge,
Yeah.
So I walked like miles across town to her house, and she let me in, obviously, I'm her son,
Yeah.
and it's crazy what we do when we're addicts, but I knew my mom, she was in a car accident, so she had a bunch of pain meds and things like this in her medicine closet. So I went in, I took a whole bunch of oxys, took a bunch of Percocets, took all these things, and then raided the refrigerator. I drank some beer, and then I made a phone call. I got some dope, and I did it all together.
Right.
And
right.
Next thing you know, I overdose. On my mom's couch. And the last thing I remember is then, like, I was gone. Like, I couldn't open my eyes, but I could hear things that were going around. So obviously they came, they took me. I had to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital and everything.
Oh, yeah, I know the drill.
And next thing you know, like a week later, I get locked up and I go to prison and I lose contact with my mom. And I guess she moved, and nobody heard from her again. Like, my dad's side of the family didn't keep contact with her. So nobody knew.
So you didn't know
I
how
get
to
out
get
of
in contact
prison.
with her.
Right. I had no way to get in contact with her. I didn't know where my mom went. None of that. Plus I was too busy getting high anyways,
Sure.
I finally, when I do get clean and I'm straightening my life out, I want to make amends, right? Because, like, for all I know, or for all my mom knows, like I could have died that day. You know,
Right.
I overdosed, and the last vision of her, or last vision she had of me, was them carrying my lifeless body out of her apartment, you know?
Yeah, let's put a pin in it, Joe. We'll come right back to that right after this 30-second break from our sponsor. Apologize, we ran out of time. Join us for part 2 of episode 78.
You are listening to We Do Recover with Jared Miller and co-hosted by Dr. Terry Sellers. We'll be right back after this short break with more of We Do Recover with Jared Miller, sponsored by Steps Recovery Center and the Hilton Garden Inn.
I'm Desmond Lomax, one of the clinical executives here at Steps Recovery, and once you become of the Steps family, you're just a part of the Steps family. A lot of us have overcome substances, overcome addiction, and now we're able to help other people. Second of all, we're also going to help you in a way where you can afford to be helped. Third of all, we're going to give you the same quality that many organizations are charging 2 to 3 times, and it's more about you than it is about our organization.
We welcome you back to We Do Recover with Jared Miller, co-hosted by Dr. Terry Sellers. Brought to you by Steps Recovery Center and the St. George Hilton Garden Inn. And now with part 2 of our podcast, Jared Miller and Dr. Terry Sellers.
Man, right off the bat, I just got to apologize to our guest, Joe. So, Joe, this thing goes on the radio, and so it is automatically timed to a T. And I apologize that we cut you off right there. We are going to come back,
It's all good.
We're going to come back to that. Real quick, episode 78, part 2, is brought to us by our sponsor, the Hilton Garden Inn. It is always sunny and bright at the Hilton Garden Inn in St. George, Utah. If you or a loved one are planning a getaway, want to take a little self-care time, want to make a trip to Zion's National Park, check out the Hilton Garden Inn in St. George, Utah. They have amazing amenities. They're just fantastic. Our second sponsor for episode 78, part 2, is Recovery Strong. Recovery Strong is all about fighting addiction and strengthening recovery. Put an end to the stigma. Wear your recovery out loud. Go to recoverystrong.com, click on the shop gear tab. They have some super cool hats, super cool shirts. Matter of fact, I got on a hat and a shirt. I doubled up today, Sean. I doubled up. So I'm rocking one of our Recovery Strong shirts and one of our Recovery Strong hats. Thank you, Recovery Strong. Okay, let's get back to Joe. Joe, again, dude, I apologize. Beautiful moment.
That was good, man.
Okay, so just to catch everybody up, you basically have gone to jail after having an overdose on your mom's couch. Mm-hmm. You try to reach out to make some amends. For all she knows, you could have, maybe even passed, like died on the couch. Okay, you can't find her. You're trying to find her.
I'm trying to find her, and I have no luck. And then some time passes, and obviously, I start doing music and touring, and as my fan base grows larger and larger, I made a post about her one day, and next thing you know, I had all my fans and everybody trying to find my mom and
It's so cool, dude.
Try to locate my mom for me. And unfortunately,
I see you.
She passed away. She had passed away from complications of COPD and everything. She moved to like a whole nother state. Had like I said, my mom suffered from paranoia. What's it called? Paranoid schizophrenic.
Yeah. Which is a mental health condition.
She had an episode, was in a completely different state. Next thing you know, she was in like a home, and she got sick and she passed away, and nobody was by her side. Nobody. She passed away all alone, and it hurt me so bad because, like I said, the last vision my mom had of me was them carrying my lifeless body out of her apartment. Yeah. And I just wanted to make those amends, and That's part of the reason why I do what I do today. I make them, they call them living amends,
Absolutely.
you know? So I do that for my mom, who I lost, and both my grandparents, who I lost while I was in, active addiction, that never got to see me get clean and turn my life around and become the person that they always knew. They always knew deep in their hearts that, like, I had a special gift, like God had blessed me with a gift, and they knew that that gift was going to, impact the world. They believed in me so much. They just never got to see it come to fruition.
So I Still Need You Here was basically your message to your mom beyond the grave.
Exactly.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. It's powerful.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears for a second here, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Falling. Based on the lyrics, again, I'm going to make an assumption. Fallen for the one deep down I know that God has sent. Are we talking about faith?
Yes, we are.
Talking
Yes, we
about faith. I'm 2 for 2 today, Sean. Okay, beautiful song. The song's name is Falling. It's a single. It's not on any of his albums. Definitely go check that out on YouTube. Falling. It's a beautiful song, man.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the inspiration behind Falling.
It's so funny you picked that song. I wrote that song in the middle of COVID. So the This Is Me album was released on the same weekend that COVID, shut down the whole country.
Oh yeah.
I had 2 tours lined up. We were like set to rock and roll, man. And everything just went to hell in a handbasket.
Yep.
All the plans got canceled. I'm starting to get emails from my distributors like, sorry, your songs and your album isn't getting put on any playlists because nobody's in the office. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like
I'm sure it was a lot of work that went into This Is Me. Like, that's a great album. There's some great songs on that album.
So that was my first independent album with no record label, no nothing. And I wanted to do it myself. That's why I named it This Is Me.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, now I'm not touring. Everything's canceled. We're in the midst of COVID, and I'm just home with my now wife. I'm home with Faith and the kids. And we're doing homeschooling now, which is new. And we're just together 24/7. And I'll be honest, I was in a slump, man. And I was like irritable, discontent. Those character defects started cropping up, man. And but nonetheless, like, I love her to death. I know, like, this is the woman that God created for me. I know it.
For sure.
And every day, no matter what, like, I fall deeper and deeper in love with her.
Which makes which makes sense, because some of the other lyrics in that song talk about, like, despite the arguing and despite all the kind of,
yeah, man, even when we're bumping heads, man, right. Like, I still love you. I need you.
Dude, I remember some of the memes around that time that it was like, spend a month at home with the wife and kids, or, and it was some other terrible thing. And, like the guy was like, I'll take option two, even before they get done. Yeah, it's right. You and everybody else, Joe Nestor, was kind of going through I love you, but I need some space.
Yeah.
So listen, I want to save enough time for you to be able to share your journey. This thing is titled Facing a Life Sentence, because I want to get to that. However, I do want to give some shout outs to a couple other of your songs. So we've named all the albums. Then you got the singles, which we've already talked about, Worthy of Love. We've talked about I Still Need You. We've talked about Falling. Mm-hmm. Angels in the Sky. Freaking, that's like a rock song. It's an amazing song. Last Days. Spiritual Healing. Long Days. If I could only read my own handwriting. Long Days. Spiritual Healing. You Are. Anxiety, which I'm hoping you have would be willing to play maybe on this podcast. Hold Her. How Many Times? I'm Sorry. I think I have everything that you've put out named on this podcast, Joe. Have I done an okay job?
You've done a great job. You've definitely done your research. You're bringing up songs that I've literally like forgotten about. Some of them, you know.
Cool, man.
But
Cool.
it's awesome, man. It's like I said, music is therapeutic for me, and each and every song that I write is just pretty much like a chapter to my life, man.
I love it. I love it. Let's get you to play Anxiety for us. And hopefully we have about 15 minutes when we come back. You can share kind of your journey into recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you be willing?
Yeah, I'm down.
Awesome.
Let's see if we can make this work. Hopefully the audio sounds okay. Let me pull the microphone in here.
You're good, man. I think it's going to sound great.
It is. You know why?
Why is that?
Because God's in the house.
That's right. That's right. Let's get it, Joe Nestor. Anxiety by Joe Nestor, everybody.
Nobody to run to, nobody to call, nobody to save me from this wrecking ball. Inside my head, inside my brain, controlling thoughts are driving me insane. So clip my wings and watch me fall and burn through the sky until I lose it all. No, it's too late, there's no stopping now. I've tried a million times, but I don't know how. So I'm cutting the brakes, and I'm picking up the pace as my mind starts to race, and I'm trying to erase all the negative things I can't change, but my brain is all over the place. Really, I just want to stand still. I just want to live my life without them forcing me to take a pill. I don't really understand how I'm supposed to be a man in this land if I can't even handle all the little things, all the little things that are taking place to make me overthink. What's this on me? What's this on me? Is it all for real, or is it all a dream? Nobody to run to, nobody to call, nobody to save me from this wrecking ball. Inside my head, inside my brain, controlling thoughts are driving me insane. So clip my wings and watch me fall and burn through the sky until I lose it all. No, it's too late, there's no stopping now. I've tried a million times, but I don't know how. No, I got nothing left to lose. And I hate to break the news, I've been sitting in my room for the past couple days contemplating suicide, cause I feel like there's nothing left that I can do. I've been trying to talk, but no one's listening. Ain't nobody picking up my cause I hear the bullshit. They just label me as one of the cool kids. The problem is they're only on the outside looking in. All the little things, all the little things that are taking place to make me overthink. What's this on me? What's this on me? Is it all for real, or is it all a dream? Nobody to run to, nobody to call, nobody to save me from this wrecking ball. Inside my head, inside my brain, controlling thoughts are driving me insane. So clip my wings and watch me fall and burn through the sky until I lose it all. No, it's too late, there's no stopping now. I've tried a million times, but I don't know how.
Dang, Joe Nestor, killing it on the mic. You're pretty dang good with that guitar, Joe.
Oh man, it's just, I don't know, man. I feel like all of us are blessed, with different gifts. And it's funny, just when it comes to writing music, when it comes to playing guitar or something like that, like I'm able to express myself better than if you and I just here talking on this podcast, just talking. Like, I mean, honestly, it's so weird that I have like all these fans and hundreds of thousands of followers and stuff, because if I'm just keeping it real, I am the most socially awkward person ever.
I don't believe that, bro.
I promise you, dude. Like without my guitar, I'm just sitting there like, I'm like looking for the closest exit.
I get it though. I think you summed it up when you said that music is a therapy for you, right? Because if you go listen to Joe Nestor, man, how many times have I said that? You can tell, you can hear it. You can hear it in your voice. I think there's something to be said about, there's good singers. There's great singers like me when I sang to Dr. Sellers' Happy Birthday. But then there's also passionate singers like you, right? Like me and Tim McGraw have great voices. You are I can't even say that with a straight face. All right. When you sing though, all jokes aside, Joe, when you sing, like the passion comes out. You can hear like there's emotion behind it. And I love it. So I do want to save you a little bit of time. Jonah, we could do this. We could do a 2-segment episode, like podcast with you. We're running out of time. I do want to announce though, you've got some pretty big stuff coming up. You're actually coming to Utah. So Joe Nestor, for those of you that don't know, lives in Florida. He will be in Utah June 4th for Talent in the Park. The timing on that is from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's going to be up in Ogden, Utah, South Ogden, Utah. So definitely put that on your calendars, everybody. Hey, listen, everybody, put it on your calendars. Talent in the Park. Go check out Joe Nestor. He is coming all the way from Florida to Utah to be able to perform. Now, do you have like, are you going to do just certain songs? What does that look like?
Honestly, it looks like I'll be performing however I feel that day.
Okay.
I don't make playlists. I don't do sets. The reason I perform, the reason you hear that emotion when I sing is because I perform like however I'm feeling, So, I mean, obviously there's going to be some staple songs in there, like Anxiety, like How Many Times, probably Never Gonna Take My Soul. But other than that, man, I don't really make a set list. I go with the flow, man.
You go with what you're feeling.
Yeah, man.
And that's how it translates.
That's just like, when I'm like chairing a meeting or I'm going to speak, like, dude, I don't ever write out a speech or anything like that, because if I do that, like, it never comes out right. I would rather just let it flow from the heart, man.
Dude, I love it. I love it. You would get along with Dr. Sellers, who's my co-host, who's down here every other week. His mom just passed away, so he hasn't been down here for a minute, but
his condolences.
Yeah, me too. So Dr. Sellers, yeah, sorry for your loss, buddy. He knows I've sent him some love. And listen, if you're listening to this, find Dr. Sellers on social media, send him some love. That dude needs some love. He's like you. He's a shoot from the hip kind of guy. I have OCD, so if I don't at least have an outline, Joe, I'm in bad shape, buddy. All right. So, okay, we got 7 minutes left, and I'm just going to leave it up to you, Joe Nestor. Do you want to try to cram your story into 7 minutes, or do you just want to kind of share a message of hope to a listener who is that person in early recovery who might be writing a song while they're sitting in a jail cell that ends up being an internationally known song on an album to hell and back known as Never Gonna Take My Soul? Like, what direction do you want to go with 7 minutes left, my friend?
I mean, it's up to you, man. Like, if you want to do another segment, I'd be fine with that too, but I can definitely share some of my, history and everything that I've been through, like in a nutshell, real quick. And we can go into deeper detail in another segment if you like.
We will definitely have you on as a guest in the future again. So, but let's
Cool.
get it. And you've kind of shared parts of your story throughout this. So I really don't feel too bad, right? Because for number one, I think that this has been phenomenal. I'm loving it, right? I know Sean's over here. He was like rocking out when you were singing it, bro. We're feeling it. Number two, yeah. So we've named this episode "Facing a Life Sentence," and I feel like with the time we have left, what does that mean when I say to you? Because I've heard your story. It's a beautiful one. Facing a life sentence. What comes to mind, Joe?
I mean, what comes to mind is literally like, I mean, my past, man. Like, just, I'm a 3-time convicted felon. Drugs and alcohol led me to a place where I was bottom of the barrel, man. I was about as low as it gets. And actually, when I came down to Florida in 2012 to get clean, I was on the run for first-degree armed robbery, bank robbery.
Dang.
And I was already a 3-time felon. Drugs and alcohol, led me to be homeless for 10 years, in and out of prison, completely broken, completely hopeless, missing all my teeth. All these right here. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have them about 10 years ago.
Those are
About 10
beautiful
years ago,
falsies.
Dude, I promise you, 10 years ago, I looked like Schmeagol off Lord of the Rings.
Dude, I love how real and raw you keep it, man. That's awesome.
Dude, I don't care, man. It is what it is, because God made me exactly how he wanted to make me, and I had to go through everything that I went through to become who I am today. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of the things that I did in my past. Oh, man, that reminds me of a verse that I have on a new song that I have coming out May 27th.
Let's get it. Sneak peek.
Oh
Only
my
released
God.
here.
No. I don't know if I could do that.
Oh,
man,
come on. It's up to you, man.
Well, the last verse on the song says, now the years are going by and I'm still going strong. It's been years since I got high. I'm really moving on. I finally got it right, but not before I got it wrong. I wish the same for all my friends, but most of them are dead and gone. I have a family now and even have a couple kids, but I don't hide my past or all the crazy things I did. I share it openly and try to raise awareness on the dangers of addiction when you're young and you are careless. Because it could be your family, be your friends, or be the rest of them. It could be a stranger passing by you see as just a bum. But if it happens, don't you dare think any less of them. I'm here to let you know sometimes it happens to the best of them.
Dang, dude. Dang, Joe, you are talented, buddy. That's coming out in May. When's that song coming out?
Friday, May 27th.
What's the name of it?
I just got it. It's called Story of an Addict.
Story of an Addict. I love it.
And
man.
I actually just got an email today from a magazine in UK that's going to be covering it. And they're going to be doing a review on it overseas. And they also want to do an interview with me because they like the song so much. So hopefully we get some radio coverage of that, But like I said, man, I don't hide my past. I share everything openly. Yes, I was homeless for 10 years. Yes, I was in and out of prison. Yes, I was facing life in prison. And I even told my sponsor when I got clean, I know we're supposed to make amends and everything, but, I'm kind of on the run for first-degree armed bank robbery. And, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
But he said, we don't make amends when we put ourselves or somebody else at risk.
Right.
And he said, if you were to make amends right now, dude, you would be jeopardizing your recovery. You would go back to prison, go back to the same mindset and everything. He said, just continue to do the right thing, continue to trust in God, and continue to work the steps and be the best version of yourself every day, keeping your side of the street clean. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, my friend. And that's what I did, Jared. That's what I did. I got a sponsor. I started going to meetings. I got a sponsor. I started working the steps. And I'm not talking, half measures, man. I dove in more than I was on the streets trying to get high.
Yeah, you can't dip a toe.
I mean,
you can't dip a toe.
Dove in, dude.
Yeah, you got a cannonball style into that thing.
Mm-hmm. And I did it, man. And next thing you know, like, obviously, like I said a million times in this episode, that music is my therapy outlet. That's my therapy. Started writing songs. I never intended for it to reach the world. It was just for me. But anyways, God had different plans. I started touring the country and everything. I go to turn myself in after a tour. I get about 5 years clean, right? And I'm still on the run. And I'm like, oh my God, it's weighing me down because I got all these people looking up to me, right? But I feel like I'm living a lie.
Yeah.
So I go to turn myself in, right? Because I'm like, dude, I have to believe that God wouldn't bring me this far just to bring me this far. So I go to turn myself in. I call the state of Delaware. And just so happens the day that I called, my probation officer that I ran from too was having lunch with the judge that was overseeing that case. They looked me up, Jared. They saw what I was doing. They saw that I got clean, that I was in Florida, that I was impacting the world with the music. They gave me a call at the end of the day. And they said, Mr. Nestor, your slate is wiped clean. Charges are dropped.
Dang.
The state of Delaware supports you. Continue doing what you're doing.
Joe, you listen, we've got about 30 seconds left here, bro. That is an amazing, but hey, that's incredible in and of itself, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That is mind-blowing. Right up to the shot clock. Joe Nestor, man. I love it. Listen, dude, I just want to thank you.
Anything is possible with God, man.
Yeah. Amen, man. Absolutely. I just want to thank you for being willing to come on here. I will be at your concert, dude. I'm going to find a way to be there.
Well, man.
All right. Love you, bro.
Love you, bro.
Thank you for joining us today on We Do Recover with Jared Miller.
Help us spread our message of hope. Like, comment, and share.
If you have any topics or ideas for future shows, please share that on our Facebook page.
That Facebook page is We Do Recover with Jared Miller. If you or a loved one needs help, please reach out to us. Again, thank you for listening.
Brought to you by Steps Recovery Center and the St. George Hilton Garden Inn. This has been a production from a podcast studio.